Hello, hello. Hello, Velos. How you doing? This video is going to talk you through how to start standing on an indoor cycling bike. I have had a number of questions, and I've seen a number of questions on the forums asking about how you can start to stand on a bike, so moving from being in the saddle to out of the saddle. This video will talk you through some ways to get you started, some things that you can do to practice, and then we're going to do a mini demonstration. First thing, as always, make sure that you've got onto your bike with it set up correctly. Seat height, seat distance to the handlebars, making sure that your knees are not going over your toes and that your handlebar height gives you a nice gentle hinge at the hip. If you want to check out your bike setup, have a quick look at this video which talks you through it in about 90 seconds, and if you have a look below, there's also going to be a link to the blog where there's a more detailed article to help you out. What we're generally aiming to do is to move smoothly from a seated position, seated as we're riding, up to a standing position whilst maintaining our pace and our speed, and then be able to come back down again. So how do we get ourselves feeling ready and able to do that? Let's find out. So the first step to coming to stand on a spin bike or indoor cycling bike is to give ourselves a stable base so we can just see or literally feel what it looks like. So we're going to move our feet so that we've got one right at the bottom, one at the top. So the 12-6 position, as we will often refer to it. And then what we want to do is we want to add a ton of resistance. So turn that resistance knob as far as it goes. The reason for doing that is it should mean that you can't move your pedals. That's going to give us a nice stable base, because all we want to do to start with is to see how it feels. Now, it is important that you make sure that the bike that you are using is able and designed to support a rider standing. So some stationary bikes, some indoor cycling bikes or exercise bikes may not be designed to have people standing up on them. The way that the pedals are set up, the weight bearing and so on is not necessarily set up that way. If you're not sure, check the manufacturer's instructions, see if you can find them on Google. We want to make sure that we're doing this safely. Knowing that we can stand up on our bike, feet 12-6 position, hands lightly on the handlebars as if we were riding. We're going to move our hands slightly further up. Now, when people come to stand, they'll often move their hands right to the very top. That may feel a long way away right now, and that's okay. We're just going to move our hands slightly further up the handlebars. If you're comfortable, take them up to the top as you come up off the seat. But all we want to do is to rock very gently from seated to standing. From seated to standing. And what's happening is we are starting to put all of the weight essentially mainly onto our lower leg, because that is the kind of the natural position. Our upper leg is staying bent for now, but we're putting some weight on the handlebars as well. So we're moving from seated to standing, from seated to standing. And so once you know what that feels like, thinking about your balance on the bike, thinking about keeping that core nice and engaged, that's going to help to keep you nice and solid, keeping you nice and balanced, building your stability. We're going to try it with our feet in a different position. So we're going to need to take that resistance off again, as if you could move your feet. Whew. I still can't move mine. Hold on. There we go. We're going to move our feet to the 3-9 position. So our 3-9 position, when we're looking at it, is where we have our feet. Imagine it's the face of a clock on the wheel, one behind, one in front. So horizontal, they are level with each other. And then once again, we want to put that resistance all the way on so that our feet cannot move. Now this is, again, to give us a nice stable base so that we can see what it feels like before we actually start doing it with our feet moving, which we will, don't you worry. So nice and solid, I can't move it below me. My feet aren't going anywhere. Nice stable base. Again, we're going to move our hands slightly further up the handlebars, keeping that core nice and tight, and we're going to come to stand. Come back down again. Come up to stand. Now, with our feet in this position, you will feel different to last time. We are Our center of gravity, if we are just standing up, is coming forward. We're slightly higher because our feet are higher, because all our weight was on the bottom leg before, if you remember. So we're higher up, we're feeling higher up on the bike, and generally our balance is going to be shifted forward, which is where most people tend to have their grip on the handlebars up at the top. Now, when we are riding, we do not want to be leaning forward. We're not going to be pressing down on the bike like this. We want to be keeping nice and light on those handlebars, so as if it was just a finger almost. So keeping nice and light on the handlebars. The other thing we want to do is to make sure that we're not thrusting towards the handlebars, because that's going to mean that we're out of alignment. What we want to do is keep these knees nice and soft, and we want to push our hips slightly back so that the nose, the tip of the saddle, is going to be just about grazing the back of your thighs, or potentially just slightly between them. So I've got some nice solid legs here, and so the nose of the saddle tends to be either just between them or grazing along the back of them, as far down as the bottom of my bum when we're actually riding with my feet in the lower position. Now, when you get started, that can feel a little bit strange and you may want to pull away from it. Be careful, because we do not, as I said, want to be throwing ourselves forward. That throws our balance off. What you can do while you're standing in that position, just so that you can get used to it, is to come up to stand, shift your hips forward, and then shift them back. Again, with that nice stable base, shift your hips forward, shift your hips back, so that you can feel the difference. And we want to be somewhere in the middle, so we are directly over the pedals. We want as much of our weight to be in our lower body, in our hips, all the way down through our legs, pushing down into those pedals, because that's what's going to be doing the work. Okay, take it back down again. We're going to take that resistance off a little bit so that we can start to move. Now, we want to be able to move probably relatively easy. So we've taken some resistance off. You can tell you're pushing against something, so a solid hill climb. But it's still hard, which means our pedals are not going to run away from us. Now, when you've got the level that feels right for you, we're going to practice coming up to stand. And when we do so, we are going to think about moving our body into the position we're going to want it to be in when we're riding. So that means what we'll be doing is, as we step up, so as one leg hits the top, as it starts to push down, we're almost pushing forward with it. So that movement, we are pushing or stepping up with your leg. You're not pulling yourself with the handlebars. We want to be stepping up using that front leg. So as it moves forward, we come forward. That hand, I recommend, goes to the top of the handlebars, and then you bring the second one up. And then we just stand here. And then we slowly lower ourselves down. As we go down, one hand back, other hand back. So let's try that again. So we're going to go up, grip, pedal, pedal, down, down. Good. Let's try that one more time. Coming up, grip, pedal, pedal, down, down. Excellent. Let's try it again. A little bit less resistance. Each time we're taking a bit of resistance off, what that's meaning is that we're having to have more control of our legs so that they don't run away from us, and of our core to keep us nice and stable. The reason that we want to be able to stand on a bike is that it helps to work our core, our stability, our balance. These are all really important skills to help keep us nice and healthy, nice and fit. So being able to do this transition smoothly and in a controlled manner is going to really help us out. So as I said, take that resistance down a little bit more. Definitely feel that you're on a hill, but we can go a little bit faster. You don't have to move your legs faster, but it's just easier to pedal is the idea. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to come up, hold it for a couple of pedal strokes, and then come back down. Are you ready? Let's go. Up, pedal, pedal, down. Okay, if you want to take it a little bit slower, absolutely do that. Want to make sure that you're feeling comfortable and able to do this. Let's try it again. 3, 2, 1. We're going up, pedal, pedal, down. Good. Now, I swapped legs in terms of which one was my leading leg to come up to stand. It will depend on you and your preferences, sometimes on the track, sometimes on the music, as to which one you're going to come up on. It's great to practice leading with both so that you're not having to always get up on the same leg to come up to the top. But let's try it again. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Up, pedal, pedal, down. Excellent. How's that feeling? Maybe a little strange to begin with. Again, take some resistance down. So you should be able to do pretty fast. And what we want to do, again, is come up and try and hold that pace if you are comfortable. If you're not ready yet, keep practicing at that slower pace, transitioning up and transitioning down. And I'll mention below some tracks that you can listen to that have a nice steady kind of 60 to 66 type beat. And those are ones that have a nice kind of solid, easy pace. And you can practice your transitions on those. So let's have a go. If you want to, at this slightly faster pace, so if you want to come with me, we're going to be sitting about 80 RPM. 1, 1, 1, 1. That's it. Let's go. So 3, 2, 1. Stand it up. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Amazing. Good work, guys. So, there we go. That is a little introduction to standing. We want to stand. It's going to help to keep our core nice and strong, build our balance, our stability, and our coordination transitioning from seated to standing. We're going to be focusing on keeping that core nice and engaged, our movements nice and controlled, taking it steady, moving from the seat to standing and then back into the saddle. Thinking about moving our hands from the bottom to the top as we come up, keeping our hands nice and light on the handlebars. They're there to help keep us balanced, not to support our weight. And then coming back down again. Starting with a slightly higher resistance to begin with and a slower pace as we practice. And then slowly we can start to ramp it up. Hope you found that useful. Let me know your thoughts, comments and everything else below. Want to know another skill? Want some help understanding something else? Please let us know. Hope to see you soon. Please subscribe and come ride with Chateau Velo.